I'm Sammy and I am the founder of the Probate Division here in Arizona. And I help attorneys and their clients, PRs, going through probate for the first time, prepare and sell properties, along with the sale of all of the other assets, period. One of the questions I get asked all the time is, Sammy, this sounds like it's going to be expensive. Who's paying for all of this? Such a good question, you guys. Let's be honest. Nobody raises their hand when asked who is going to volunteer their money to pay for the probate. So let's break it down so that you know what money is going to be required and who it's going to be required from. Who pays for all this? In almost every case, the estate pays for the expenses of probate, not the heirs, and not you, not the attorney. See, nobody gets money out of their personal wallet during this process. The estate pays for everything. And that means the assets of the deceased person, like the bank accounts, the real estate properties, or other valuable items sitting around, these usually cover the cost. The costs are court fees, attorney fees, appraisals, maintenance on the home, HOAs, utilities, insurance, and taxes. Think of it like this. The estate has its own checkbook, and those expenses come out of that checkbook before you get any money or the estate. So getting into this, what if the estate doesn't really have any assets, doesn't have any money to its name? Well, here's where families get nervous. Because the estate does not have a home or a vehicle or any money to it, what's going to cover the costs of probate? Well, in these cases, the expenses can actually be covered by selling assets, jewelry, if there's vehicles or artwork, firearms, selling a home. And that's one of the main reasons probate real estate is actually very important. It's not about a sale of a house. It often provides the liquidity needed to cover expenses and distribute the leftovers to the heirs and pay the attorney. The role of the personal representative is this. Sometimes we call them the PR, the executor, but they're in charge of making sure all the expenses are paid. Now, that doesn't mean they're paying out of their pocket. It means they're responsible for managing the estate's funds properly. If they're not managed properly, this opens you up to liability. So yes, they get the fun job of writing checks to attorneys and courts and utility companies, but not with their own money. Here's a little humor for you. If you are named a personal representative, this is kind of like being the treasurer of the world's most complicated family club. You're responsible for the bills, but you don't get to keep the money. So at the end of the day, why this matters in probate is this. Where I see a lot of families make mistakes, they actually think they need to pay the probate expenses out of their own pocket. They stress out about it and they can't sleep. How are we going to keep the lights on if this process lasts 6 to 12 months and it drags on? But a probate specialist like myself can help. Alongside your attorney, we analyze the estate situation and guide you on how to use the estate funds efficiently, keep the costs under control, and decide whether selling any of the assets actually is needed or makes sense. A traditional realtor or someone with a real estate license may not understand these financial and legal layers, and that's okay. They were never taught about probate in real estate school. They're focused on selling a house, but we're focused on the entire estate process, including how the expenses get handled. So the bottom line is, in probate, the estate pays the expenses. Court fees, attorney fees, appraisals, maintenance, utilities, HOAs, it all comes out of the estate assets before any distribution is made to heirs. If the estate is cash poor but asset rich, selling the home is often the best way to create the funds needed to proceed forward in this process. And that's exactly where we come in. I started the Probate Division to guide you, reduce the stress, and make sure that the estate handles the expenses the smart way. there's not a lot of education about this process online that I've seen. So I'm Sammy, founder of the Probate Division. If you or someone you know is navigating this process and worried about what comes next, have them contact us so that we can help them. And if you enjoyed this video, please like or subscribe and leave the unique situation you're going through in the comments so that I can help you with that as well.